There are two women that managed, this is a replay from moments ago. Wow. So that was the first woman who managed to run out the door. This is the second woman. Both Lint staff members, it appears, are scrambling and dashing down the cement towards those armed police officers.
And a good Monday morning to you. A very busy morning as we try to unpack this breaking story that continues happening around the world in Australia. As many as 5 hostages have fled the Lindt chocolate shop 6 hours after being taken hostage in the center of the financial district. You saw the footage of them at the opening of the show. It's not exactly known what the situation was with those particular hostages. Were they freed? Did they escape? We're still trying to wait details on that, but we do know that they are talking to police, likely giving very important information about the alleged suspect. Now, it's not known exactly how many remain in captivity, but we do know that the entire area of this financial district is surrounded by police at this hour. Reports suggest that this gunman, who we're just starting to learn more information about, has 2 bombs on him, and he alleges there are 2 other bombs planted in the financial district. Nonetheless, he is demanding 2 things. He wants an ISIS flag, and he wants a conversation with the Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, who very early on in this crisis talked to Australia.
This is a very disturbing incident. I can understand the concerns and anxieties of the Australian people at a time like this, but our thoughts and prayers must above all go out to the individuals who are caught up in this. I can think of almost nothing more distressing, more terrifying than to be caught up in such a situation, and our hearts go out to those people.
All right, so let's bring in Jonathan Halevi to discuss the ongoing situation. Good to have you, sir. So we're just starting to learn more information about the alleged suspect. He's apparently a spiritual healer going by the name of Haron Monis, but he also goes by another name, Mohammed Hassan Mantagi. And I think we have a picture, or in the works of getting a picture, and we will show you that picture as soon as we get it. But nonetheless, he is a self-titled spiritual leader. No connection has officially yet been made with ISIS, but this has all the hallmarks in many people's views of a lone wolf ISIS attack.
It seems so. You know, he asked for the flag of ISIS, the black flag, and the attack seems exactly as ISIS attack, as ISIS called Muslims worldwide. To launch attack against these believers, and this is exactly what he did. We don't know all the details, we're not familiar with all the facts, but it seems that it's inspired by ISIS ideology.
The flags that were being put up by the hostages themselves, this was not an ISIS flag. There was a lot of debate in the beginning as to what it actually said, but it is obviously a prayer, scripture of Islam, and he is demanding the actual flag now. But nonetheless, what is the meaning of what they were holding up in the window?
The flag is the Shahada. It's the testimony of which every Muslim must say, which means accept the oneness of Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And this flag can be it's used by Hizb ut-Tahrir, by Islamic groups, by even in the flag, in the Saudi flag, you can see the same Shahada with a long sword. So it can be used by many groups, but this is also the message and the icon of ISIS.
So ISIS has claimed this as their own?
This can be also used by ISIS, yes, I have seen that.
All right. No, we're being careful with what information we're getting out because it's still very fluid. And so we know that just through seeing some video clips that we are not airing, that hostages have spoken to, through the camera, to the Prime Minister, asking specific things on behalf of their hostage taker. You know, what would this symbolize? If in fact the Prime Minister was to speak to him and give him a flag, which I would think there's no way that that's going to happen. But we do know that Australia, the officials, the police want to get these people out alive. What are the chances that they'll give in to his demands?
I think that they want to give in, you know, give in to his demands. I think that you know, it's question of time. He is going to be tired. They cannot be, you know, all the time be in full control of the situation. After 6-8 hours. I think that building on that, you know, to keep him in negotiations till the time that he becoming weak, tired, and then I think that would be the best time to consider a rescue operation inside this cafe.
But I would think, as far as propaganda is concerned, for him to get a flag and or have a conversation with Prime Minister Tony Abbott, obviously Australia is part of the coalition against ISIS, would be quite valuable to a group like ISIS.
Yes, of course. I mean, I don't think that they're going to give it to him. I think that they're going to keep the negotiation with him. That's always what the teams of negotiation are doing in such case, in order to keep any contact with him, in order also to get more information about what's happening inside, to give more time to the rescue group to gather the information and to prepare themselves for the attack. And this is a crucial time of preparedness for the security forces of the Australian police.
All right, so let's show you the picture of this spiritual healer, the alleged gunman in this situation, going by two names, Heron Monis, also by the name Mohammed Hassan Mantagi, and apparently he's quite well known to police. He's got a really long rap sheet, and without getting into too much of the logistics of the policing, and only because I have a background in crime reporting, I mean, I'm surprised by some of the things that he is accused of and yet was on bail. He's got a number of sexual offenses, more than 40 charges against him, and according to the court, when he was on bail, he was up on being charged with being an accessory before and after the fact in the murder of his ex-wife and mother to two kids. So we'll start flushing out those facts as we get them in. But this guy's well known to police. They've been very kind of cautious about releasing that information. But nonetheless, he seems to have built himself into the community of either directly linked with ISIS and or a sympathizer. Is there a difference?
You know, but when you look into all this group of volunteers that coming to ISIS, you know, from Canada, from the US, from Britain, from all around the globe, you know, they come from all walks of life. You can find them engineers, singers, criminals, and doctors. They're all coming. You know, there's one doctor, by the way, who worked in hospital in Israel, and he joined ISIS. So it happens. You know, they come from all walks of life. It's not surprising. They are all inspired by the ideology of ISIS, and ISIS is projecting a strong hope for Muslims to build, to restore the caliphate, which is the Islamic State, and restore the glory of Islam.
Is there any significance to the timing of what we're watching unfold? I mean, is there any kind of significance on the calendar even? I was trying to figure out what would be significant about yesterday in Australia that might have prompted this attack, or is it just the Christmas season in general? Because I have to think, my first thought was, if this can happen in Australia, it can certainly happen in Canada.
Yes, for sure. You know, this is the same ideology. They hate the disbelievers. ISIS called Canadians. We have seen that also with the last video, propaganda video of Yahya Maguire from Ottawa. Yeah. To kill indiscriminately Canadians in the name of Islam. That's what they said. This is a repeated message. And for them, when you have an opportunity, you must. It was said, this is a religious obligation to any Muslims to execute. So it's not, it can be before Christmas, during Christmas, and after Christmas. It doesn't matter. What's really important is first of all, to kill the disbelievers, and then to make it an event that be reported and as a vehicle to garner more and more support in the Muslim community, first of all, and to terrorize the disbelievers. So
obviously our officials, including the Prime Minister and our government, would be watching this very closely, correct?
100%. And I've seen for my own research on supporters of ISIS in the West, that many of them came from Australia. Sure. Many of them from Sydney, from Perth, from other cities of Australia. And it was amazing to see how many young Australians identify and support publicly in their, in their own Facebook pages, support the idea of the Islamic State and the terrorism.
You know, recently Canada closed our embassy in Egypt because there are renewed and new terror threats now facing us. The group Ansar Bayt, and I'm going to probably say this wrong, so you can correct me, Ansar Bayt al-Mahdi?
Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis.
Okay, I knew you would know the group, but nonetheless, they are a newcomer to the terror scene. One of the biggest current threats, according to our government. Tell me a little bit more about them, and why are they just coming onto our radar now?
Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis, it's an organization that started operating in the Sinai Peninsula. It's a very radical Islamic organization that very recently pledged allegiance to ISIS. He focused his terrorist attack on the Egyptian army and also got support from the Gaza Strip.
Right.
And according to the Egyptian authorities, he also cooperates with Hamas administration and government inside the Gaza Strip in terms of smuggling weapons to Hamas and getting support and training inside the Gaza Strip. Now, after he pledged allegiance to ISIS, that means that he operates under the command of ISIS, which means directing or aiming at other targets, which means embassies and foreign interest in Egypt.
Okay, so quickly, just before I let you go, do you get the sense that there is some kind of imminent threat now underway?
I think yes, because they are really serious about what they are doing, and they adopted fully the tactics of ISIS.
Wow, interesting. Jonathan, a pleasure. Thank you so much for all the information.
Thank you.